This is Ecom Woody, and he's made $712,000 in the last 10 months. And what's wild is he went from literally $0 to $154,000 months within just 4 months.
We got up to 200 grand in revenue just with IGDM as a setter and a closer.
He's an ecom coach and completely dominating the industry. And in this video, we're gonna roll down the curtains, literally showing you everything inside his business from A to Z, and show you one of the most common mistakes you must avoid if you wanna grow your high ticket coaching business fast.
My biggest mistake was paying an agency to run my own. So I definitely recommend.
So sit back, take out a pen and paper, run on the treadmill, do whatever you gotta do. This video is about to be one of the most valuable videos you will ever see online. It's a complete breakdown discussing everything you need to do to go from zero, complete beginner, to having your first 100K plus months. So with that being said, let's jump into it. What is going on, guys? I've got the man, the myth, the legend here, Mr. Ecom Woody. How's it going, brother?
Good, bro. Good to be here, man.
Happy to have you on this call.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So what we're going to cover today for everybody that's watching on here is Mr. Woody has done some pretty tremendous things in the past 12 months. And one of the things is he's done over $700,000 in cash collected. And I really want to break that down, man. I want to go into like your business, your mindset, the things you do to get to where you're at. And more importantly, you know, we've got a lot of viewers that are kind of interested in going in the high ticket coaching space. Some are kind of just getting started. Some are looking to scale. So I really want to dedicate this type of episode to be something where it's like everything you need to go from like complete beginner to your level of having 100K plus months. So yeah. With that being said, man, let's jump into it. What do you think is the biggest thing that's kind of contributed to some of these results?
Well, first off, thanks for having me, bro. This place is awesome.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro.
Down here in Tampa, but I really think it just comes down to just going all in on one thing too. You know, I think a lot of guys early on, they try to, you know, they see this, they see that, but it's just one offer. You know what I mean? Just focus on one offer. I think that's what really helped me get to where I am this year. And obviously with the help of you know what I mean? You got to have mentors and stuff, but I feel like guys, you know, they're buying Airbnb courses and they're buying Amazon courses and they're doing this and they're getting into high ticket coaching. It's like, pick one thing and just go all in on it. Yeah. You know, one channel, one offer, you know, and that's how you scale. You just got to focus on one thing.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people mess up too, dude, because I mean, at this point we've coached, I think we have over 350 people in our program right now. And the biggest mistake most people make is exactly what you said. They're trying to do this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. It's like, yeah, you can make a lot of money doing that. And I think people like Ty Lopez are to blame, saying you have to have multiple streams of income, but it takes fucking up a bunch of times, losing money, to realize your best way to make money is just betting on yourself, putting all of your eggs in one basket to start spreading those baskets into other things.
No, 100%. Hormozy just did a video on this too, where he took the glass of Kool-Aid or whatever and it was filled up, and then he started pouring it into all the different businesses. He was like, look, you're only going to have this much in each cup, but if you put them all back into one thing, the cup starts to overflow. Yeah. You know? But I think a lot of guys too, there's too many variables. You know what I mean? Like IGDMs and VSLs and this and that and low ticket ascension model. It's just, bro, just focus on selling one thing like for an entire year or 2 years, and then introduce other, you know, variables to things. But guys, you know, try to market on Google and Facebook and TikTok. It's just like, bro, stick to one thing. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I think that's what really helped me, bro. And then raising price, I've told you that.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you start with your charging when you first, when we started working together? What? It's been over a year, right?
Yeah, it's been a year.
Okay. Yeah. What were you charging when you first started in the program?
I think it was $3 grand.
What are you charging now?
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna keep it at 6 or you want to increase?
I want to increase, but like, again, I stuck at 6 for an entire year, and I'm on pace to do, let's say, $1 million in revenue this year. Or a little bit behind it, but you know, and that's just sticking at that 6K price point. You know?
Let's talk about that a little bit more, because that's another thing. It's the power of focus, to be able to focus on one sort of income stream, but as you're saying, is focus on one client acquisition system, one offer. Talk about that a little bit more, because we get people that come in all the time. They're like, and I had a call with somebody the other day. They're like, yeah, we're just now started running ads. We're spending about $3 grand, or we're spending about, they were spending like $500 a day. And they were putting it in YouTube, Google ads, Facebook lead forms, Instagram DM ads. And the first thing I would say is like, dude, pick one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it the best, bro. It's just like there's too many variables, you know, like you can add in variables when you're really scaling, you know, when you're doing 100K months, 500K months, that's when guys want to divert into like other, you know, forms of marketing and stuff. But I mean, bro, we got up to 200 grand in revenue just with IGDM ads, a setter and a closer, you know what I mean? Like super simple. And then one price point, 6K. That was it. You know what I mean? And then, okay, once you get to there, maybe you add in a couple of things, but it's just like from 0 to there, it's just one offer, one acquisition system, one form of marketing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very important for anyone that's watching too, is like you need one offer and one industry solving one problem, and do that until you get up to 100K months, and then start expanding. And I mean, that's what you did too. And you went from, which I think was awesome, dude. You literally went from, I know like the day that we started talking, you had a marketing agency, which I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And you were pretty much losing money each month running ads to get clients. And then you started working with us, and then you just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. The marketing agency, what was a big change for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone should learn how to run their own app. Like, there's no reason to pay these crazy retainers to agencies when you can just click a few buttons and do it yourself and be in control of it. You know, I wasn't in control of it, bro. And then they would come back to me and go, well, what's your cost per call book, bro? And I'm like, you're the agency. You tell me. You know what I mean? So again, with you, the KPIs, I mean, that's huge. So understanding my own KPIs, understanding how to market myself is really what took me to where I am today. You know what I mean? Those two key things, bro. Like, there's a lot of guys that are trying to launch courses or high ticket stuff. They don't even understand the concept of KPIs, because I didn't, you know, and I've been trying to sell a course for 2 years. I didn't even understand what KPIs were.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a huge shift right there. And then just taking control of your own marketing, you know?
Yeah. It's because KPIs just aren't sexy. It's not like sexy until you understand like what KPIs actually do and making more money. So if you think money's sexy, KPIs are sexy. It's just like changing your reality to how you think about it. And again, that's where a lot of people mess up, bro, is they come in, it's like, oh, let me just run some ads. Cool, I'm making money. Now you actually end up losing money. And it took me years to actually figure that shit out, because we were running ads that looked profitable. We were just losing money. And I think that's what like 80-90% of business owners are doing right now, is you're just throwing money away and they're like, oh, ads don't work. It's like, no, your tracking just doesn't work.
Yeah. No, I can't agree with you more, bro.
Yeah.
So, like,
and you also mentioned, you were talking about Hermosium marketing. I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because how important do you think it really is to be able to understand how to market yourself the right way? And because there's a lot of people out here, they're like, well, I want to be like I don't really want to put my face out there. I just want to, you know, market my brand. And like, there's people that are trying to do that, but they don't understand marketing. Talk about that a little.
I mean, I think the personal brand's taking over, bro. Like, I think whatever you're trying to sell, whether it's you have like a business or whatever, you need to put yourself out there, you know, because it all stems from the personal brand. And like, look at Hermosi, look at Ty Lopez, look at Grant Cardone, you know what I mean? Like, all these guys went all in on their personal brand, and then they can sell stuff to their audience from there. You know what I mean? But I think you have to become that authority in your space. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be that guy for people to buy your $6,000 course or whatever it is. You know what I mean? If you just have a couple followers, you're not posting any content, whatever, like, who's gonna buy your shit? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I think.
That's where the world's going, man. It's like, and it's been pretty interesting to see, because for me, the first time I started seeing like people really start like selling online and stuff was when I was in college. I was selling print and digital ads. And then print was like the main thing, and then they just stopped print and went digital. And I remember just looking on the bus when I was going to school, everybody was on their phone. I'm like, this is a future. You just have to be there and be able to market yourself the right way. And it kind of goes to what you were saying too, is like, you've got to become the authority. You can't just be some random person in the space. And, you know, the best way, in my opinion, I'm sure you might agree too, is, you know, going all in on one social media platform and branding yourself and staying consistent.
I still think IG is king.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro. I really think it, like, people have, you know, the TikTok stuff blow up, but everyone sells on Instagram. So, you know, with your system, it works really, really well. And the network I've been able to build because of my personal brand has been huge, even over the past couple of years. You know what I mean? You know, having mentors like you and, you know, Luke Belmar, all these guys, like, I'm connected in these circles now, where just a few years ago I was a nobody. You know what I mean? But that's because of the personal brand. You know what I mean? So I think everyone should go all in on their personal brand.
What can someone do if they don't have a personal brand right now? Or maybe they've been at it for a little bit, but they're not like becoming the authority in this space. What can someone do?
I think it's just like when you look at your Instagram page, like, would you buy something from you? You know what I mean? I think that's really what it comes down to. It really doesn't necessarily mean, all the followers and stuff, but like, just having all the right things in all the right places and just making your Instagram or whatever social media look professional. I think that'll go a long way. And then documenting your journey too. And that's something I wish I did more of, with my Amazon stuff, because no one really saw that stuff when I was first getting started. But I was like posting Snapchat stories of like people like my buddies in college would see it and they'd swipe up and buy my course for $500. I was trying, bro. Like people don't even try. You know what I mean? Like my first 10 customers were just people I knew. You know what I mean? But I think just, like I said, just making that Instagram just look super professional, I think will help. And then if you run paid ads, bro, it's just like game over.
Yeah. I agree, man. It's like, it's kind of comical a lot of times when people come to us and like, nobody's buying from me. And it's like, you look at their profile, you look at what they're marketing, and it's like, would you buy from you?
Yeah.
And it's like, take the extra time to make sure shit looks good. And if you're not good at designing stuff, well, we live in a world where you can go on Fiverr.com and pay someone $5 to create you a design, which I think people are just, they don't want to spend money or they're just too lazy to do it the right way.
Yeah, I agree, bro. A lot of people are lazy, man.
Yeah.
I want to get into this a little bit more, but just like taking action, you know what I mean? Because I've seen people, and it sucks, bro. I've seen people buy my course and like not do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we give them all the resources, the blueprint, the kickoff call, everything. Like we do everything the right way, but then they're not on any of the coaching calls. Then they hit me up 9 months later and they're like, hey, bro, like, what's good? I'm like, what's good with you, dude? Like I've been
where the fuck you been? Yeah.
Like all you got to do is just dedicate the time to learning the system, and you could be at 20 grand a month on Amazon right now, but you're not. So it's just taking action, bro. Like money loves speed, you know what I mean? So the faster you can get going, the faster you can start selling, marketing, building the brand, like the more money's gonna come.
Yeah, I think everything's about momentum. Like my biggest shift was when I first got started, I was that type of guy that was doing everything. I was doing drop shipping, real estate, somehow real estate. I didn't have a license or anything. Forex, copywriting, everything you could think of, I was trying. And there was this one video I watched. It was from, it was Jeffrey Bunting. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a e-com guy. His whole thing is like e-com on eBay or something, like drop shipping on eBay. I don't know what he does now, but there was a live call that paid $97 a month to hop on. And that was the one thing he says, like, once you get momentum, do not stop. And that's where a lot of people stop, is they see, for example, they'll make a lot of money and then they go travel the world for a while and just fuck off. And then it's like you come back, you're like, oh, I got to restart that momentum. But I call it like a blitz, basically. Like you go all in for like 90 days and just go all in. And that's how you build momentum, because it's not hard to make money online. You just have to be consistent, and you just don't have to be, you just have to be somebody that actually wants something, has a burning desire to do it. So I know for you, you've had some pretty crazy results recently. What would you do if you had to start completely at $0 in your bank account and you had to make 100K to make your first 100K through high ticket coaching? Like walk us through those steps of what Mr. Ecom, what he would do to do that.
I mean, honestly, bro, like if I was at zero, I would just start selling for another guy's offer. I think a lot of guys are talking about that right now. I think it's smart because you can kind of see how they run things and see how the back end runs, and then go sell and learn how to sell. I think a lot of it comes down to, the ability to sell and building a sales team too, bro. That's something I learned this year. It's hard to get to 100K a month selling yourself, in my opinion. I think you need to build a team around you of killers that you can manage and be involved in the process to get there. But just going back to it, I would do that and stash away some money, and then I would document whatever skill that I'm good at, I would start documenting that, and then just start putting content out online, and maybe investing in a mentor, learning the back end systems, how to get everything set up, and then just start selling. Bro, I feel like a lot of guys aren't focused on selling, dude. Like I tell people this all the time, is just start selling, then build. Like sell, then build. Like you know, even earlier this year, we got up to the huge months and like maybe my client fulfillment wasn't the best. You know, maybe we had to take a step back, but it was only once I got to 200K a month. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of guys are trying to figure out all that little stuff when they have no clients. You know what I mean? Like you have to sell.
Yeah.
So
It's like people get in their own way. It's like,
Yeah.
well, this is a future problem that I might have. Let me see if I can try to avoid it now. And it's like, in reality, the ones that make the moves are the ones that just, they see what's ahead, but they take massive action and understand like, hey, there's going to be problems. And
Yeah.
that's something I always say, man, is like the more problems that you can face and the faster you can get them, the faster your business and your life, you're going to transform. And a lot of people just get too scared from that.
and you can fix a lot of shit when you have cash.
Exactly.
Yeah, like when you don't have any cash, what are you gonna fix, bro? Yeah, and so I'm just like, go sell, get cash into the system, and then you can build. You can make the funnel better. You can make this better. You can make that better. Like whatever, but you gotta have money coming through the door.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think about that? People say money isn't everything. What do you say to people that say that?
I mean, I think it's just a tool, bro. You know, and like for example, the other day, like I know how to build a funnel, but I paid a guy $5,000 to build a funnel, and he's building it instantly, professional. Like, so you can just use it to get stuff done a lot faster, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But it's nice. You know, we live nice life, so I'm really grateful for having the cash and the freedom. You know what I mean? But it's just a tool. You know, I'm just like deploy. So you want to build up that war chest to deploy, you know what I mean, whenever you need to. But when you don't have the war chest built up, it's really hard to deploy like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I think money is a tool to get you freedom because you can't achieve freedom without money. And depending on what your perspective is, but if you want to have like a good life where you don't have to worry about things,
Yeah.
it's just the fact like that's the world that we live in. If you live in like the US or like a thriving country,
Yeah.
you have to be making money to provide for yourself and your family. And I think a lot of people try to psychologically psych themselves out of saying, well, I don't need a lot of money because I can be happy without it. And in reality, they're the ones that don't have the money in the first place.
Exactly. And then problems come up, even if it's not in the business.
Exactly.
Just the other day, our refrigerator went out, like, bam, $1,500. But like, I didn't even think about it. It's just like, bang, get a new fridge. You know what I mean? It's this, you know, little stuff even that comes up during life where you gotta have cash to deploy and like solve the problems quickly. You know what I mean?
Damn, dude, the fucking refrigerator.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just like, all right, bestbuy.com, $1,500, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like, but if you're broke, you're like, holy shit, $1,500. You know what I mean? It's like, how am I gonna do this? And calling the landlord and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so.
Well, there you have it. Make money so you can buy refrigerators and not have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But I think that's good, man. I am curious because you're very similar to me as well. Is like we're both pretty involved in the credit game as well.
Yeah.
I know that was a big thing for you is like, you know, getting financing, you know, let's talk about that a little bit because I think a lot of people don't put enough energy and focus on building their credit, and it literally dictates everything. It dictates your car payments. It dictates how you can grow a business. Like me, I went $40,000 in debt right out of college to just pay mentors all off credit cards.
Yep.
It was the best investment I ever did. So talk about that a little bit. Like what's like an introductory way to get into credit and essentially, you know, how you use it.
I mean, I like business credit, you know what I mean? Because it's not showing on your personal, so you can carry larger balances without it affecting you, and you can use it to grow the business, you know? So you're in a point where you don't have like a huge war chest built up, then, you know, you can get started by investing in a mentor or running ads or whatever. You can throw that on credit and, you know, make profit from that if you know what you're doing. But it's the guys that go out and spend, you know, the dumb money on the personal side of things, and then they hold a balance. That's when you get fucked, you know?
Yeah.
But I think, you know, using business credit's healthy. You know, it can help you grow the business as long as you know what you're doing. And like you said, bro, like the degree doesn't matter. It's like the credit score, what's in the bank, you know what I mean? Like that's, if you want to buy a house or get a, you know, a nice townhouse like this, whatever, like that's what matters, not your degree, you know?
Exactly.
So
yeah, I think the world's really changing on, you know, because people pay $20,000 a year to go to college to learn how to learn. Like that's the one thing I will contribute to college. I learned how to learn and I learned how to party.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like it was a great time. Like I'm glad I did it, but it's also like for me, I think it really depends on the person. Me, I was in a very small town area growing up. And, you know, I was like the center of attention there because I was the athlete. Anytime I did something, got in trouble, the whole country, everybody would know.
Yep.
So the best thing for me was going, because I'm from Northern Kentucky, which is like right by Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The best thing for me was going to a big college, University of Kentucky, where everybody else was like, there's people like 10 times crazier than I was at the time. And it just kind of like opened me up to the world. So I think there is a pro to it depending on who you are, but it's like, if you're going to school to make money, you can just go online and pay someone a fraction of the cost and make, I mean, how much money, what was your return on investment from working with us?
I mean, take basically $1 million divided by 15K. Right.
Exactly.
Like, whatever that is, bro, whatever ROAS that is. I mean, it's like, and I went to Penn State, you know, my parents paid, you know, 30, 40 grand or whatever a year for me to go there. I got lucky. They paid a lot of it. I have a little bit of loans left that we're paying off, but like I got lucky there. But bro, if I knew all this back then, oh my God, I feel like
they don't teach you this shit in college, bro. They don't teach you KPIs. They don't teach you how to manage your personal finances. They don't teach you how to run a team.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, what do you pay for?
Yeah.
You pay for just like the experience.
Yeah. And I did get a lot of experience. So I went to Penn State. So it was a lot.
I was sure it was a lot.
It was a lot.
Like, I don't regret it at all. I thought for me it was perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if I knew the stuff I knew now, I don't know. Or maybe I'd be just grinding like while I was in school. You know, I see a lot of guys doing that now. And to bring this up, actually, I have a student right now. He's 21. He goes to a school in Virginia as a basketball player. He's a D1 athlete. He did 60 grand in sales on Amazon his first 2 months.
Damn.
And he's in college.
Yeah.
And then I hired him as a coach for my team. And this kid's literally 21 in college. Like I was nowhere near that point.
Yeah.
You know, so I think now people are starting to catch on. You know what I mean? More and more younger guys are kind of getting into the game. So
that's how Alexa is on my team. Like I think he's 21 years old. Dropped out of college because he started becoming like I called him like my protege. Like I just taught him everything. He started working with me.
Yep.
And now he's the king of Serbia. Like everybody in Serbia knows who he is. He's just balling out over there. And it's like, it just goes to show if you want to make serious money, you don't need to go to college.
Yeah.
You just got to find the right people online.
100%.
Yeah. So talk to me, man. You know, what's some goals for you? You've had a pretty big year so far. Is this the biggest year you've had?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. What's goals? What do you want next year?
So a couple things is one, I want to scale the coaching offer again, but now understanding, right, the whole kind of game and been in this game now a couple of years and had a great year. I'm kind of taking a step back right now to take 2 steps forward. So I really want to scale, but I want to scale past where we were. You know, I want to build a long-term savage sales team and just have a really, really good product and scale the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to do this year. You know, no more 50 grand months. You know what I mean? Like I'm over that. I want the benchmark to be 6-figure months. You know? And then on top of that, you know, I know we're going to talk about it, but I'm launching a software business as well on the side and, you know, going to organically grow that as well alongside the coaching business. But that's the goals. So.
Okay, nice. So grow the business and then start growing the software company as well.
Yep.
Okay. I'm glad that you brought that up. What do you think is a big mistake that if you had to just rewind a year from now, something that the biggest mistake you made within the last 12 months that you wish you could avoid that you could share with everybody else right now?
Yeah, I mean, I blew a lot of cash. I know we're talking about like managing your finances and KPIs and stuff. I did blow a lot of cash. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely kind of pulling back in that area a little bit, being a little bit more strategic. I still invested a lot of my money over the past year, which is great. But now I'm kind of understanding, okay, you know, you do 100 grand a month, but ad spend, sales team payouts, all the overhead, coaching, you know, stuff like that. So you kind of realize that like that 100 grand a month might only be, let's say 50 grand in profit or 60 grand in profit, right? So understanding that now, I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do to get to really big months and keep a lot of it as well. Yeah. You know, so that paying out my sales team too much, bro, like it was ridiculous. I was paying my setters 8% cash collected, you know, so it's like they were happy, you know what I mean? But I'm sitting there going, holy shit, these kids are making like 10 grand a month setting for me. You know what I mean? Like that's a little bit too much for that role. You know what I mean? So that was a mistake I made. And then, yeah, I think some of the momentum stuff that you're talking about too, like there was a point over the summer where the ads just weren't hitting. And I thought that in order to keep the momentum rolling, I had to just keep spending more money. That wasn't good either, you know, because the sales team they were unhappy. The lead quality was really shitty. But I was spending $900 a day and just basically pissing away the money. You know what I mean? So understanding some of this stuff now, I'm like, okay, like let's scale the right way. Let's not just turn the ads up to $1,000 a day without testing stuff. So little stuff like that I learned this year, and I think that'll help me going into next.
Yeah, I think it's important to like understand that, because a lot of times these mistakes we make, the only way to really learn from them is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is just like fail your way to success. And again, that's what I think scares the majority of people away, is like they're afraid to fail. And it's like, for me, dude, I fail at something probably every day, to be honest with you.
I've failed so many times, bro. Like I've failed so many times, lost so much money, but it's the lessons that you learn from that, bro.
Exactly.
You know, and like you said, people are scared. Like I get on the phone with people, they're scared to invest a couple grand and stuff. It's like, bro, what's going to change if you lose a couple grand, bro? You know what I mean? Like worst case scenario. And I bring that up in the frames of my sales call, like worst case scenario, bro. Let's say you invest $2,000 right now. What happens? They're like, well, I'll be okay. You know, just okay, then let's start, dude. How are you going to know, you know, if you're going to succeed if you don't try? You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are just, they want to hoard onto the money, and like, even if they have a couple grand saved up, it's just like, just release it, try, build, fail, you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the crazy part about money that most people don't even realize, is like, if you're just keeping money in your bank account, you're literally just letting it deteriorate like in front of you, due to inflation and due to how the economy and how the world's going. So it's like, you've got to be investing in skill sets. And I think that's something that I see, at least for me, was probably one of the biggest things that changed my life, was just constantly reinvesting money that I'd make. Anytime I'd make money, I'd reinvest it back into somebody that was like 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. And then that ultimately led to networking with people and changing who I was surrounding myself with. And you said it yourself, is like, you know, if you're not surrounding yourself with winners, you're not going to be a winner.
No, couldn't agree more, bro. Couldn't agree more.
How else can you find winners? How else can you find like people in your network that, you know, because that's what you said, is like you came in, you're like, I didn't really know many people, and now it's like you have this big network.
I mean, you kind of have to pay your way there, to be real with you, bro. You know what I mean? Like paying $50,000 mastermind here or there. So you got to get to that level of business where you can actually pay to get in these rooms. And then from there, it's just being yourself and like building these connections and having good social skills. You know, now, bro, like my Rolodex of people in my contacts is just, oh, call up this dude. He has 1 million subscribers. Call up you. You have 100,000 followers. Call up you. $1 million business here or there. It's just like you start building this network, bro. It's just, you have like connections and money at your fingertips, but you got to pay to get there. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, got to pay to play.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are afraid to do, is like, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people can take away from this is like not really focusing on money, like as the ability of money is like something that is sacred. It's like money comes in. If you think about everything in life, it's just energy, right? Yeah. And if you're going to be stressing about money, you're going to be stressed with money. Whereas you kind of like let it go and just be like, all right, money comes to me fruitfully. Like I can spend it, I'll make it back. But being intelligent with it. And it's, I think, as you said, I went through the same stages. Like I was having all this money coming in when I first got started. I was like, where is all this? You said we did $500,000 last year. Where is this money?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of the most painful things, but it's like, you have to go through that to understand, all right, now I got to learn how to stack up cash, which you'd think would be something so simple. But once you start making money, you really want to start spending it until you get a little bit more educated on it.
And building a team and stuff, I mean, people don't realize like the overhead of running business. Now, of course, with the high ticket stuff, the margins are amazing, you know, depending on the team you have built, or if it's just you, if you're solo, like the margins are amazing. But a lot of these business owners, bro, I mean, they're barely making 10% profit. They're doing $1 million a year, barely making 10% profit. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's something you got to think about when you are running a business, even at scale, you know. It's something I'm still learning, you know.
I think it's where a lot of people just don't really, like, the general public doesn't understand that. They see someone say, oh, I made $100,000 this month. And it's like, that can mean anything. Yeah. It can mean you lost some. I know people that literally make $100,000 a month and lose money with that.
Exactly.
And I know some people that do that and they have like 90% profit margins.
Yep.
It just depends on how lean your team is and how well you're able to keep that cash that comes through. So what else do you think the viewers should know? Like, about like your journey, what else can help them out? Because a lot of people that are watching this, they're probably they're probably doing maybe like less than 20K a month, maybe even just getting started.
Yeah, I would just become a savage at sales, honestly, and just like focus on selling every single day. I think like really, bro, that's what took me to the big months, was just like building a savage sales team, like hitting your pipelines. Like there's so many lazy guys at like 20, 30K a month. It's like, bro, there's like 400 leads in your CRM right now, right? All those leads are worth $3 grand, $6 grand. Like, bro, hammer those out, call those people up. I'm telling you, like, it's always the 5 or 10 deals that you miss that separates the guys that are doing like below 50 and above 50. I swear, bro, it's those extra deals that you gotta pull through. You know what I mean? So just go all in on sales. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I know. And your team's you have a savage sales team.
Yeah.
Walk us through that process, bro. Like, I'm curious. Obviously, you have your leads that are coming in, your inbound leads, but you also have a CRM.
Yeah.
Like, what's a day in the life of a sales rep at Mr. Ecom Woody's business look like?
I mean, so there's appointment setters and there's closers, right? So the appointment setters are in my inbox. They're responding back to all the leads. They're also hitting outbound every day as well. And we focus on that too. That was a big shift earlier this year of like messaging people who follow me, messaging people who like my ads. And, it's amazing how many conversations you can generate from that. My setters are in my inbox like 24/7. So they're grinding. Like I never sugarcoat it with people. Like setting is hard, but you can make a lot of money doing it. So there's that. And then on the closer end of things, it's just, they're taking all the front end calls. And then when there's gaps in their day, they're expected to hammer the follow-ups. Go back through the last 2 weeks, right? Go back through who were no-shows, call them up. Bro, if you have an hour gap in your day, you can make 15 dials. Why not? And then plant more seeds, right? Plant more seeds with the people that no-showed or maybe didn't close on the first call. And sometimes we do creative deals too. Sometimes you got to do that. Like if it's the end of the month and, you're on the car lot, like these guys that's when you want to go. So sometimes we're like, all right, we'll knock, 15% off you get started by the end of the month or whatever it is. So I think just having an end-to-end sales team is what makes it savage, and just having that culture, like, eat what you kill kind of mentality. It's just like, it's a free for all, bro. Like there's leads everywhere, especially when you're running a lot of ads. It's just like, yeah, so what about that guy from 2 weeks ago, bro? Where's he at? And I'll like challenge my team like that. You know what I mean? Where's he at? Where's this deal at? Oh, you said this guy was qualified. Why hasn't he booked a call yet? Right? It's like, it's all those little things that you start to miss at scale, which I think separates like, the smaller months to the big ones.
Yeah. Which also really goes into management, which is probably the hardest, in my opinion, the hardest skill set to learn, because you can pay people to learn how to manage, but you can't actually do it until you do it type thing. And that's what you're saying right there is like, doing sales is one thing, but then managing a sales team, managing setters, managing your fulfillment team. It's a whole another level, man. What have you learned from the management skill set?
Just be like making them feel like I'm a part of things. So like a lot of the times, like if we're having a slow week or a slow day or whatever, all right, guys, we're getting on a Zoom call, emergency meeting. And then I'll just pull up my phone and start dialing up leads in front of them on Zoom. And their jaws drop. You know what I mean? Like, and I've closed a few deals like that with them watching, and then they're like, oh, fuck, like he actually cares about, each part of this team. He's willing to step in and, do a one-on-one call with one of the coaching clients, or he's willing to step in and call up leads, right? Like in front of us. And I think just leading by example like that has really helped me, manage the team and show them like there's levels to this,
Exactly.
So I call myself Ninja CEO, bro. That's like
Ninja CEO.
So we all have nicknames on our team, you know what I mean? So like my one closer, we call him like Angelo the Saint, because he's a nice guy when he closes deals. And then we have another guy, his name is Dan. We call him the Kraken because he's like more hardcore. But then I'm Ninja CEO, so I can run ads, I can come in and close, I can come in an appointment set and send voice notes, I can come in and coach the students. So, you got to be like that at keto, so.
That's very important that you said that, because a lot of people think, let me just build a business, bring on team members, and then automate the whole thing, and they think it's just going to run. I made that mistake plenty of times. And exactly what you said is like, as CEO, you have to be willing to get your hands dirty. And a perfect example. I just got back from Puerto Vallarta, and for whatever reason, my sales team just kind of took their own mental vacation.
Oh, really?
So the first thing I did,
Yeah.
even with me being on top of it, hitting them up, because, you know, when I travel, I still work.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to like observe to see what was happening.
Yeah.
Stopped updating KPIs, stopped sticking to the sales script. And it's like,
Oh, man.
so you know what I did?
Stepped in?
First day I got home, I went and closed the deal. You know what happened after that? They all started closing deals again. And it's like, did I want to have to hop on a sales call and do that? No, because I have, again, like my time's better spent with everything else that we're doing. And it's like, you got to do what you got to do. And it's like, you got to put people in place. It's like, if you're not willing to put in, if you're a CEO and you're not willing to do everything in your business, you're not a CEO.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. A lot of people want to be CEOs. It's like, sometimes I'm thinking like, holy shit, these sales guys have it easy, bro. They don't have to worry about marketing, systems, automations with Zaps. They don't know any of this shit. Funnels, copywriting, email sequences. All they do is get on Zoom and close deals, you know? And as us, we're doing everything, bro. You know what I mean? But we get the biggest reward, so.
And that's what it comes down to. And that's why I think it's like, I really think there's, based off genetics, if you're supposed to be a boss or if you're supposed to work for someone else. And if you're supposed to work with someone else, I mean, the good news is you don't have to go take a 9 to 5. You could find someone like one of us and work for the company, and you have uncapped potential. And that's where I really think why the education system and what's going on in the world now, it's just like, I don't think it's going to exist. Like, I don't think colleges I think it's just going to be, the only people that are really going to be going to are like doctors, lawyers. But even from that, you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years from now, there's going to be something different than colleges that are teaching doctors on how to do this. And shit, it might even just be AI doing it.
It might be a robot.
Exactly.
Surgery on you. You know what I mean? And then the actual guys making money will be the guys building the robot to do surgery on people. You know,
that's
building the hardware, building the software, you know, but even a lot of the software stuff now you can automate with AI. So yeah, bro, it'll be interesting.
That would be very interesting to see. Are you using AI in your business right now?
A little bit. With this software we're building, there was going to be an AI features to it. So I definitely think that that's the future, you know, automating more processes, stuff like that. I mean, I know guys now that are like, you know, replacing their appointment setters with AI bots, you know what I mean? And I've been tempted to kind of go down that route and kind of test it out and stuff like that, but we'll see. I think it's really starting to take over. So
yeah, I think so too. I think the biggest thing where like the AI appointment setting, I think it is the future, but I also think it's going to be based off of how good you are at setting, because you can feed it that data. And that's where I see a lot of people building these bots and selling these bots, and like you test them out and it's like, bro, like it just sounds like you're talking to Chat GPT, and it's like, you've got to be personalized.
But I think the number one thing, and Ty Lopez talked about it on his last PR run he did, is just personal brand, bro.
Yeah.
You know, that's still going to be king even into the future, no matter what, you know? So even if there's AI stuff coming out, whatever, that personal brand is always going to be there. So
personal brand is the current and personal brand is the future. Well, Mr. Woody, I appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks, bro.
My last question for you. Are you a book reader?
Yeah. So I have about probably 20 books. I haven't read all of them. I'm kind of just taking it like one step at a time in my entrepreneurial career. You know what I mean? But what I'll do is I'll buy books and then I'll put them back there. And then when I feel like I need that piece that I'm missing, then I'll start reading some of it. You know what I mean? And then if I get hooked on it, I'll finish it quickly, stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of I'm not like reading every single day. I probably should be, but I like pulling stuff out of like Hermosi stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? And then just implementing it right away.
Okay. Well, I always like to ask this question because whenever I watch interviews or anything, if I'm listening to someone that I look up to or I want to learn more about how they're doing something, as soon as they tell me a book, the first thing I do, or as soon as they name drop a book, I go on Amazon, I buy it right away. So for you, what is that one book? What's the first book that comes to mind?
Okay, I know what it is. It's actually called Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really a book. It's almost just like a worksheet of how to get stuff done, right? So the whole point of it is like putting to-do lists together and putting the hardest shit at the top. right? So then when you come into your next day, it's like, I gotta get this out of the way. Like if it's launching a new campaign on the ads manager, like I know it's gonna take me hours to set it all up. Like that's what I'll put at the top. So the goal behind it is like eat the biggest thing, like eat the frog first, and then your day becomes a lot easier from there.
So the frog is the shittiest thing that takes the most time that you don't want to do, but you just gotta eat that shit.
Exactly.
Eat that frog.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. Go get Ecom Frog. Go get Ecom Frog. Go get Eat That Frog. Ecom Woody. Where can everybody find you at?
At Ecom Woody on Instagram. Yeah, check me out there.
Go check him out.